I know that I get questions a lot, and a lot of times I've gotten questions about one thing. I vaguely remember the story, but a man had written me recently about, wanting to find a woman that wanted him for him. And he was struggling because I think it was like he married a woman that wasn't really attracted to him. And now he's feeling like I did a live where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm making it a joke, like this woman doesn't want to even be touched by her husband because she married a man that wanted to marry her, but she didn't want to marry him. Or she would, if she felt like she had other options, she wouldn't have married him. And he felt that way. That's how he felt. And that's why I was talking to someone earlier about just how I feel like a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men, they settle. They settle because I know there's men of God that settle because they don't feel like they can find what they're attracted to in a woman of God. I've met and heard stories of men that have done that. And I think that's very interesting. And I respect the commitment to wanting to do it God's way so much that you supersede your attraction to marry someone you're not even attracted to. I respect men that do that because I don't know. I mean, and then I've met way more women that have settled with men that may not be their attraction, may not be what they're attracted to, may not be with men that are men of God, or men that have a relationship with God on their own, or they know that this guy is not from God and they stay with him and things like. A lot of women settle, and I think that's because we don't really trust God's way. We don't trust that God's going to bring us what we desire. We don't trust that God's process is going to bring about the best results. We don't trust it. That's with everything. We don't trust that God's going to bring about the dream. We don't trust that God's going to bring us into the career. We don't trust that God's going to show up for us when we really need him. We don't trust it. And because of that, we settle. We find ways to meet our needs ourselves. And I know that in this process, y'all, that's been one of my biggest struggles is this faith walk is completely countercultural. You're walking and you have no idea if God is going to show up. But what I've seen is him always show up. He's always shown up. Always. When he's asked me to trust him in certain areas, and I've trusted him, he's always shown up. He's never disappointed. He's always shown up on time. And so I want to make sure for each person on this live that's watching me now, and you don't know this, I even feel for the people that may be on here with a negative agenda or whatever. I feel like if you're going on people's lives with negative agendas, I don't know how happy you are internally. I can't imagine if you're spreading out negativity, you feel positively. I don't think so. I just want you to know that there is a God that gives peace. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the women or all the men, or you don't have to have all the friends or the nicest cars. A relationship with God is very easy. You don't have to have anything. Just you and him. And I want to encourage those who are on here who are hurting. Maybe I represent people that have hurt you. And that's why you come on here and say negative things or whatever. Well, first thing that comes to my mind spiritually is to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for on behalf of whoever I represent that's hurt you. I don't know. Somebody need to hear that. That's the first thing that came to my spirit or my mind, was to say I'm sorry for that. Because what I've learned in this life, I'll be honest with you guys, this is something that I haven't said. This is like random, but I'm just going with spirit. Last week, I found myself, God was calling me to renounce a lot of things that I spoke over my life. And I spoke over those things or said those things in places of pain. I'm like, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to. And I was like speaking things over my life. And family, I don't think we realize how important it is for us to monitor our words. That some of us don't realize how what we speak, what we write, we are attracting that energy into our lives. Like, I didn't even realize it. I didn't even remember that I had done, like, I had forgotten that I had said certain things. And I feel like God is taking me in a direction, and I now have to renounce the things I've spoken over my own life in seasons of pain. And so I want to make sure that I tell somebody on here today, if you're saying I'm never going to do this, or I'm never going to do that, or this is never going to happen, or I'm never going to find this type of woman, I'm never going to do that, whatever that is for you, or I'm never going to find this type of man. If I do it God's way, it's not going to happen for me. I don't see it happening. Anything negative that you have spoken over your own life, like you have spoken from your mouth, you speak blessings and curses. And what I feel very strongly is that there's people on here just like me. I had to do this last week. Just like me, have to renounce those things. Renounce those things over your life. Sometimes, a lot of times, the very things you said are what's keeping you in certain situations or attracting specific situations to you. There's probably women have said, I'm never going to find the right guy. I'm never going to find the right woman. I'm never going to be in the right job. I'm never going to make the kind of money. I'll never see that happen in my life. You have spoken that over your life. Words, blessings, and curses come from your mouth. So renounce those things. Think about the things in your life that you've said over you. Don't allow bad experiences. I found that God has shown me in this time that the very thing that I was afraid of or avoiding was some things I really wanted, what I really desired. But because I had been hurt in that area, I was avoiding it, speaking like I didn't want it, but I did. God's like, I can't bless with who you're pretending to be. This isn't real. This is not who you are. You're not this person. And I learned that some of the areas that we've been hurt the most in, or the people that like, let's say you're attracted to a certain type of woman and you've been hurt by that type of woman, or you're attracted to a certain type of man and you've been hurt by that type of man, you then say, oh, well, it's not possible because I've been hurt by men that look like this, or women that look like that, or men that do this, or women that do that. Like, you've been hurt by that specific type of person. Sometimes that's an indication that that's where God wants to bless you the most in. The areas that you've been hurt the most in is where God wants to bless you the most in. Why would the enemy send opposition? Why would he send opposition to you in that area if it was not a threat to purpose? He's not going to send opposition when it don't mean nothing to him. He's going to send opposition when it's actually a threat. So some of you guys have stopped believing in dreams, stop believing in relationships, stop believing in a lot of different things. And God's like, that's the one area. That's why the enemy sent opposition to begin with, because he wanted to get you to a place where you stop dreaming, where you stop trying, where you stop being vulnerable, where you stop pursuing the things that you desire, where you stop doing those things, because now you're no longer a threat. He's nullified the threat. I was watching a thing on basketball, you know, the playoffs going on or whatever. And I was watching something today. It was random. I really haven't been watching like I used to. I feel like God just called me to a season of just kind of like isolating. And I saw a player talk about how the way that he was fouling another player was strategically on the place that this person had been hurt in. He was like, yeah, I mean, I know if I have an injury, I'm going to have to watch the injury because somebody is going to figure out a way to hurt me in the area I've been hurt in. That's how the enemy is too. He knows you have an injury on your thumb and he's going to hit you in your thumb. He knows you have an injury in your ankle. He's going to hit you in that ankle. He knows where to hit you. He wants to foul you out to nullify you as a threat to the kingdom. That is how the enemy is. That's what the enemy does. He figures out your area of weakness and he manipulates it. He now digs into it so that you decide, I'm not going to take that shot anymore, or I'm not going to play as well anymore, or I'm not going to move forward in this area because I've been hurt so bad. You don't see an athlete on any level saying, oh, well, I'm just going to stop playing the game because I got hurt. So I'm just going to stop because I don't want to be hurting my ankle. I don't want this to happen. I don't want my thumb to hurt. I don't want my back to hurt. I don't want these areas to be hurt. So I'm just going to stop playing. Forget it. Forget the dream. Forget it. No, you don't see that ever. They keep playing. Like, no, I'm going to get better. I'm going to keep playing. Some of us in life, we need to have that same level of resilience. I'm not going to allow one incident, one time where I got hurt, I'm not going to allow it to create a personality that literally pushes away the thing that God wants to bless you in. Just because I've been rejected, maybe that just wasn't that opportunity, or maybe it just wasn't that time for you. Maybe you needed to mature. Maybe you needed to grow. Maybe you needed to see something different. Maybe God wasn't going to let that work out because he already knew he had something better for you. Some of us have given up and we've decided to go world's way because world's way is easier. World's way is I see it, so I do it. I have evidence that this works, so I'm going to go that way. And God's way is, do you have faith for it? How much faith do you have? Because that's the currency of the kingdom is faith. And some of us, including myself, got hurt in the area and said, you know what, forget it. I don't want to play the game. I've been hurt. I've been disappointed. I don't want to put myself through that anymore. And God strategically challenged me in that area, because I know that ultimately that's the area God wants me or wants to use me in. I'm not going to let no enemy, no opposition try to stop me where God is moving me. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to be resilient. I'm not going to allow my past hurts, my past disappointments to determine my future. I'm not going to allow the past to have power over what God's going to do for me in the future. I'm not going to allow the past to stop me from dreaming. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to fight. I'm going to keep swinging, and I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to keep swinging again. And if I get pushed down again, I'm getting back up again. I'm going to keep on swinging. Some of y'all need to keep swinging. Sometimes all the opposition, all the things that you have faced is developing a better story for God to get the glory. You're missing out on a testimony that can change the world just by you deciding to get back up again. I feel that. I feel that so strongly. Somebody needed to hear that. Some of y'all are missing out on an opportunity to be able to tell your story. That God is going to use every area, every single thing you had to experience. It was necessary for the type of story that you're going to have, that's going to impact nations. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't allow the enemy to win just because he's hurt. Oh, that really broke my heart. Oh, that really hit me. No, don't stop. Don't get into this mindset that our world does. We get into this lower level mindset. Oh, well, I'm just going to hang with lower level fruit because It just makes me feel more safe and I have more control here. Forget that. We only are here for a period of time. Family, we don't have the time we think we do. We don't. We don't. Some of us, the illusion of the world is that we have endless amounts of time. We don't. It's an illusion. Time is an illusion. We don't control how much time we have. And some of y'all need to do a better job of managing the time you do have. Don't allow pain to steal your future. Don't allow that heartbreak to steal your future. Don't allow that heartbreak to destroy the lineage that's supposed to come from your line. Don't allow the fact that the dream was rejected or the door was closed to stop you from pursuing and continuing to push towards what you know God put in your heart to do. You would not be facing opposition if it wasn't an area that God has for you. In some way, shape, or form. Now, we have to let God do what he's going to do. We have to be flexible with what that looks like, right? We can't just say, oh, this is what it's going to look like and it's going to be this outcome. We've got to say, okay, God, however you decide you're going to do this, may you get the glory.